Greetings, my name is Kerry and welcome back to my channel. Today I have for you a book review of a book that I read in September, and this is Before the Coffee Gets Cold by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. I heard about this book on Twitter back in the summer and just thought it sounded beautiful, so I pre-ordered it straight away. It came out in September, I think around the 22nd, and it's just a really lovely book. It's published by Picador, which is an imprint of Macmillan, so it is one of the big five companies, but it's a translated work. It's translated from Japanese. The translator is called Jeffrey Trusolo, something like that. Anyway, credit to him because he's done a fab job of translating. It's a bestseller in Japan, so I'm really glad that it's now been made available to read in English. I gave this book 5 stars and it's actually one of my favourite books of the year, which is why I wanted to review it, because I've not heard very many people talking about it at all, and it really deserves a little bit of hype about it because I've never read anything like it and it was just beautiful. So the synopsis is: there's a small cafe in a backstreet of Tokyo which offers its customers a unique experience that they are able to travel back in time, but only if they follow a certain set of very specific rules that they have to follow and that allow them to travel through time. These rules are that they have to sit in a certain seat, they cannot leave the cafe, so they can only meet with people that have been to the cafe, and their actions in the past have no bearing on the present, so whatever they do in the past can't change the present will still be the same as it was, and they have to return to the present before their cup of coffee gets cold, so they have to drink the entire cup of coffee before it gets cold, and that will bring them back to the present. It follows 4 people as they attempt to go back in time and revisit important conversations in their lives. Their stories all interlink, they're all known to each other, and there's a really lovely interplay between these characters in the present. So they've all gone back in time to revisit an important conversation with someone who they have now lost, or who has become lost to them. There's quite a close-knit cast of characters who are all very endearing, very likeable. The first chapter focuses on Fumiko. She is relatively new to the cafe, she's been there once before, but she's heard the rumours about the opportunity to go back in time in this cafe, and she wants to revisit the previous time she was at the cafe, which was with her boyfriend who was just about to leave to take up a job in another country. Through her we learn about the history of the cafe and the rules for going back in time. It's a really gentle way of giving us that backstory, giving us that world building and that insight into how the story works, how the trope is being played out. The owners of the cafe are called Kei and Nagare. Kei is the wife. She has very delicate health and she's expecting their first child. The waitress in the cafe is called Kazu, and she is the one who is responsible for explaining the rules to the customers and administering the coffee that allows them to travel back through time. Then there's also Fusagi, who is a regular at the cafe. He sits in the same booth every day and he's waiting for his opportunity to go back in time, but he's losing his memory. And his wife also comes into the cafe. She's called Kotake, and there's a little bit about their story in there as well. There's also Hirai. She runs a bar down the street and she comes into the cafe quite regularly as well, and she's come to Tokyo to get away from her family because she didn't want to take up the family business and has essentially been disowned by her family. There's one other character who features in the story, but we don't learn a great deal about her. She's just called the Lady in the White Dress. All we know about her really is that she tried to go back in time but got stuck in the past, and so she essentially prevents an obstacle to others that want to go back in time because she still sits in the seat that is the only seat that they can sit in to go back in time, so they have to wait for her to move to be able to go back in time, and she just sits there and drinks coffee all day and reads her book. So she's kind of referred to as a bit of a ghost. No one quite knows what her story is, only that she got stuck in the past. So my thoughts about this book: I've mentioned it's very unique. I've never read anything quite like it. It was really beautifully written and really sensitively written as well. All of these characters have experienced some form of loss, and the book is helping them come to terms with what they've lost and move on from that. It's also a very unique take on the time travel trope. Time travel is one of my favourite sci-fi tropes, and I really loved the way this book handled it because it made it like the scientific rules of time travel can be quite complex and complicated, and this boiled it down to very simple, straightforward but difficult to follow rules that really I thought was a clever take on those science guidelines for time travel. Really liked all the characters. They were all really endearing, and their motivations for wanting to go back in time were all very believable, and how they understood the rules and followed them or didn't follow them I found really intriguing, and I really enjoyed how all their stories interplayed as well, how events that didn't seem that significant to start with actually took on more significance as the novel went on, and how the stories all sort of were woven together I found really delightful. It was quite a sad book in places, but also each story sort of was tinged with hope. So even though all the characters know when they go back in time that they're not going to change their present situation, actually the experience of going back in time changes them and gives them a new perspective on their life and on the situations they find themselves in. I thought that was really beautifully done, and I cannot recommend this book highly enough. I haven't heard anyone else talking about it, so I just really wanted to give it a lot of praise and a lot of hype. Just from my perspective, I thought it was absolutely beautiful and really cleverly done. It has a very unique writing style, which some people might not enjoy. It's sort of very, I want to say prosaic. It's like, it's not really flowery language, it's quite straightforward language. It's sort of quite basic prose in some ways, but it's very simply told, I think is what I'm trying to say. It's not a complex narrative in that sense. It's an easy read and a gentle read, and I just really loved this book, and I want to hear more people talking about it. So if you like gentle sci-fi, if you like time travel, or if you just like family stories and you like stories about people, I think you'd probably enjoy this. And it's only a very short, quick read. As I said, it's just over 200 pages. I read it in a couple of sittings because I was reading it around having to go to work, but I think I could have easily read it in one sitting if I had the time. And also it's a really beautiful, lovely little cover. Nothing else to say really, but go read it, please. Hopefully you'll love it. So that's it for today, just me hyping up that book. Let me know if you've read this book and if you enjoyed it, what you thought of it, or if you're a fan of time travel, what other time travel books out there have you read and enjoyed? Let me know. Have a chat to me down in the comments about that. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to hear more from me. I upload bookish videos at least once a week, hopefully getting back to twice a week over the next couple of months, and I'd love for you to join my little family. And you can also follow me on my social media if you want up to the minute updates of what I'm reading. You can follow me on Goodreads. You can also follow me on Twitter, where I tweet about books sometimes and I tweet about other things sometimes as well. So go check me out there. All that information is always in the description box below. But for now, that's it for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye!